Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, editorial director at TigerFitness.com and Muscle and Brawn Nutrition CEO. Welcome to Q&A Saturday. I got a bunch of questions I'm going to answer today on Q&A Saturday. Moved inside today to do the videos because it's getting a little warm outside and everybody's cutting the grass, so it's a little bit noisy. Now, before I get into the questions, guys, if I answer your question in a video, you can email me. You can find my email below. I'll send you a free copy of my book, Massive Iron, No Questions Asked. Also, within the next couple of days, look for me to be releasing my new beginner program. This is a program for guys during their first 6 months of training, guys and girls who want to maximize their progress. Now, if you want your question featured in a Q&A video, there's a Q&A link below. Post your questions. I answer every question posted. The best questions I turn into a Q&A video just like this. So, guys, I'm going to get started. The first question, I got so many questions this week, but the first question I want to answer is from Michael Moon. Michael says, "Hey, Steve, I'm new to your Q&A, but I hope you get this. I'm a university student, home for the summer. I can choose when I lift or do cardio." So he's got a very flexible schedule. "I'm trying to lose weight, so when would be the best time to lift and to do cardio?" Now, I answer this question a lot, Michael, and I always give people the same answer. There's no magical best time to lift. There's no magical best time to do cardio. Yes, there might be studies or indicators that show there's a better time of day hormonally for us, or there's better times when our energy is peaked, so on and so forth. But those look at a big number of people at the same time. The best time for each of us to lift or do cardio is when we have the most energy, during that given day, and when we feel most motivated. So that will vary from person to person. So you do cardio, you do lifting when you feel like you have the most energy each day. That might be different times. It might, depending on how your day is going and what you did the previous day, especially since you're off from school during the summer. Just make sure if you do cardio, it's either following your weight training, it's on off days from your weight training, or it is earlier in the day, at least 4 to 6 hours prior to your weight training, so you can eat a meal, recover, etc. So, Michael, I hope that question helps. Let me dig through this and find the next question here. Next question is from VN23. VN23 says, "I've been training." He says, "Hey, Bearded Beast, I've been training for about a year." He's natural, he says. "Currently, I'm running a full body. My workout plan isn't very strict, meaning I don't have fixed exercises. I only have fixed focuses on certain muscles. I want to hit the mid and upper chest, etc., etc." So he basically goes into the gym, does a full body. He doesn't have fixed exercises each day. He goes in and just tries to work each muscle group. He says, "Is training like this fine, or shall I run a plan containing fixed exercises?" Look, this might sound somewhat controversial, and you might not be expecting me to say this, VN, or for the rest of you guys lifting, but you can train like that on a full body. You can train like that on an upper lower. You can train like that on a split with a caveat. And the caveat is this: you need to be recording your workouts, your weight and your reps, whatever you do on a given day. And for the big exercises, the exercises you're doing, the major compound dumbbell or barbell exercises, you need to train them at least once every 2 weeks, and you need to be trying to progress. So however you mix up, slice and dice your workouts, you can train intuitively. If you're logging your workouts, you know exactly what weight and reps you're using. And if you're doing those exercises at least at minimum every 10 to 14 days. So you're doing them maybe every 5 days, every 7 days, but you're doing them no more than 14 days apart. And you're trying to progress. So you can do that intuitive kind of training. You still have to have a focus on progression. You still have to be logging your stuff. You still have to be tracking your stuff. And don't use those big exercises too infrequently. So I hope that helps. Next question, guys, is from Flavio Gil. He says, "Thanks for answering my question. I love your YouTube channel. You have very solid advice. It's one of the best channels." Thank you. I appreciate it. He says, "I'm a late beginner or early intermediate lifter. Currently, my squat is 310, my bench is 230, and my deadlift is becoming my weakness. Before, my deadlift used to be my best lift, but he's stuck at 265 for 5 reps. Reps on deadlift just don't work for me, and my form becomes very sloppy very quickly. Do you think it's a good idea to start working with singles and maybe start some periodization only for my deadlift? Periodization, no. At this point, you don't need periodization with your strength levels, Flavio. But look, sloppiness on deadlift on rep sets is a common issue. I face it. I'm very well aware of it, even after 30 years of lifting. So I tread lightly when it comes to those sets. Singles, yes, you don't need a lot of deadlift reps each week. You don't need a lot of floor pulling each week. What I like to do is 8 to 10 to 12 minute one-time set where I'm doing singles. Start with about 77.5% to 80% of your 1 rep max. Pull only singles for that block, 8, 10, 12 minutes. Now, after each single, stand up, release the bar, wait till you are mentally and physically ready to go for another rep again. That could be 15 seconds, that could be 10 seconds, that could be a minute and a half, whatever it is. But do as many quality singles as you can in that period of time. And when you hit 8 to 10 or whatever during that block time, then maybe add 5 pounds to the bar. Now this gets you focusing not on trying to do linear progression, which just fizzles out way too quickly for most lifters. It's not a linear progression is not sustainable. This gets you focused on auto-regulated progression. You can go into the gym and know, hey, I hit 7 reps on the deadlift with 7 singles last week with 265. This week I'm going to try to hit 8. If you just can focus on adding a rep or 2 or maybe even 3, whatever the case is each workout, those small little steps are going to add up to big progress over the course of the year. It'll get you away from the sloppy form that comes with repped deadlift sets, and it'll get you back on the progression track. So that is what I recommend. I really like that for deadlifts because you really don't have to perform a lot of deadlift reps each week. And this is a solid, safe way to train. It's one of my favorite ways to train. All right, guys, next question is from MannyS. MannyS says, Steve, my goal is to get my deadlift up. Another deadlift question. As much as possible, how would you have a routine based around this? I'm currently doing a full body routine from your book and recently started doing rest pause singles, just like I talked about. He's doing rest pause singles, and just like I talked about in the previous question. He says it's working fine. Would you suggest deadlifting twice a week? Maybe a heavy and light session to keep it up with more focus on the assistance work? No, I don't recommend. Look, you can train the deadlift frequently. I don't recommend floor pulling more than once a week. What I like to do is if you're going to, first off, if something is working, don't change it. That is rule number 1. If you are making progress using rest pause singles, don't change it. You're not going to add some magical, it's very unlikely that you'll add some magic variable that'll improve the progress. Good, consistent progress should not be tinkered with. Now, if you start, there will come a point in the deadlift where you start to slow. That's just how it happens. But if you want to try at that point to experiment with frequent deadlifting, you can deadlift twice a week. But I don't recommend that. Here's how I approach deadlifting twice a week. Number 1, you only floor pull once every 2 weeks. So you have a floor pulling day where you pull from the floor 1 week, and then the next week you pull from 3 to 5 inches off the ground. This could be in a rack or off blocks or whatever. So you're only floor pulling once a week, but the opposite day, the next week, you're pulling from 3 to 5 inches off the ground. Now on the other day of the week, you're doing power shrugs or high rack pull and power shrug combination. So you're power shrugging and you're not pulling, but you're still doing a deadlift power shrug variation. You're using a lot of weight. This will hit the traps. It'll work your lockout, and I just love this combination. So that's where I recommend you go if you want to pull multiple times a week when things stall. So Manny, I hope that question helps. Guys, we're rolling along here today. I got 2 more questions. Next question is from Nick Clark. Nick Clark So Steve, I've been doing your huge gainer full body workout routine. You can find that at tigerfitness.com. Just search huge gainer full body workout from the big hairy ugly dude, also known as Steve Shaw. He says that finding my sessions are going anywhere as long as an hour and 30 minutes to get all the exercises done. I'm usually beat up, etc. I also find I start to lose focus after an hour mark. I'm that way as well, unless I'm having one of those days where I have super high energy. Do you have any suggestions? Should I try and power through as quickly as possible on all 8 exercises or split it up? Look, I know a lot of people preach full body workouts. I preach them as well, but I typically recommend if you're training right after 6 to 8, maybe 10 months, it's about time to move on to an upper-lower routine, and here is why. When you start adding strength, your workouts become more and more intense. And they can easily, on a full body workout, take an hour and 30 to hour 45 minutes. You're adding more warm-up sets, your recovery time between sets is greater, etc. This is why I believe an upper-lower is a better choice at that point. You'll spend less time in the gym. You only might be doing 5, maybe 6 exercises per session, so you cut down that time, and you're still going to get decent results. At some point, like for me as an advanced lifter, it takes me 30 to 40 minutes to thoroughly warm up using warm-up sets on the bench press and squats. Squats, for example, when I was at my strongest, I'd have to do 145 by 5 and 235 by 3 and 325 by 1 and 375 by 1 and 415 by 1 and 465 by 1 and 505 by 1, and then my working sets. It took forever to warm up. Now, that's why it doesn't make sense as you get stronger and more experienced to stick with a full body workout. Yes, they can be optimal, but optimal from a physiological standpoint as you're gaining strength and muscle, that optimization, will start to drain you, so it can become kind of counterproductive. There's multiple factors here, give and take, when you're looking at programming. So just because one variable, like protein synthesis, might be optimal on paper, doesn't mean over time as you get stronger, it's going to be the other variables won't come into play and balance that out. So yeah, after about the 6 to 8 month of training, it's probably a good time to look at upper-lower splits, because you'll spend less time in the gym. You really will be able to attack every set with more energy, and that's very important. I don't like just doing sets if I don't have 100% energy to put into them. Now, another option, if you really like full body workouts and you want to stick to them, is you could drop exercises in this full body workout from 3 sets to 2 sets. Now, people will panic and be like, oh my goodness, OMG, big hairy ugly dude, I'm only doing 6 sets per major body part per week. Can I grow on that? Oh, hell yes, you can grow on that, guys. Yes, you can. The big, hairy, ugly dude doesn't do a lot of volume. You can grow on those sets as long as you're pushing them for as many reps as possible, as many safe reps as possible, and focused on progression. As long as you're maximizing those sets, you will grow, and you don't need a ton of volume each week. So that's another option to cut down on time as well. Last question, another question from Michael Moon. And this is the last question for the Q&A Saturday. Michael said, would be splitting up quads and hamstrings work? I feel that I'm not able to recruit hams properly. My current split is chest, tries, etc., etc. He wants to know if splitting up his quads and hamstrings works. Yes, I've done that before. If you're doing a bro split or powerlifting split, or even an upper-lower, you could even split them up as long as you have a day of rest between. Or a full body, you can split them up. But look, upper lowers, bro splits. I've put together a Powerbuilding program that was 4 or 5 days a week, where you did squats and just leg focused, and then on your deadlift day, you were doing hamstring work. That doesn't really work too well on upper lower unless you structure it right. It can work, but for a bro split, for a powerlifting split, for the intermediate, late intermediate type of lifter who has a track record of building muscle, building strength, you can just focus on legs on your squat day and then put hamstrings on your deadlift day. Just make sure there's at least 2 days of rest in between these workouts so you're getting recovery. Whatever type of split, whatever type of program you can do. I find that works best. I like to do like my deadlift work and my power shrugs and my hamstring work. You could do like your deadlifts and then move on to dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts and then leg curls and power shrugs if you're going to do it in the type of bro split, power building split type of way. So yeah, that's a great way to train. Gives you more focus on your legs, which is rarely a bad thing because a lot of people under focus on their legs. Ain't nobody got time for chicken legs, kids. All right, guys, that's it for Q&A Saturday. Thanks for tuning in. Again, if I answered your question in this video, you can find my email below. Email me. I'll send you a free copy of my book, Massive Iron. Again, look for my new beginner program coming out soon. Within a couple days, it's called Massive 6. 6 months to all kinds of gains, kids. Did I just talk like the Hodge twins? I'm sorry. I'm not the Hodge twins. I'm the big, hairy, ugly dude. So, guys, as always, thanks for watching. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. If you want to connect with me on social, there's all kinds of links to social media down there. Connect with the big, hairy, ugly dude. So, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.